The simplest thing in the world actually is this rubber case for your phone. If you buy one of these rubber cases for your phone and it has a plastic shell around it, the rubber case is sticky at the corners and it wedges perfectly in between the dashboard and the windscreen of the car. It makes a perfect filming position. So if you are wanting to live stream from a car, cars are great places to live stream from. It's quiet, it's very comfortable. You can have your nice warm car on a cold day. Because of the glass in the car, you get a good signal strength. And especially if you put your phone in the dashboard near the windscreen, you get a brilliant signal through the glass because there's nothing really to stop it. And the other nice thing about the phones like these is they're about the same size as a sat-nav. So I use a sat-nav mount which sticks to the windscreen. It allows me to place the camera all around the car so I can get different angles. You might have seen an interview I did with wee Scribbles a wee while ago where I set the camera on its side, so I got a very wide field of view and I could talk to Mick in the car, the two of us just sitting in the two seats having a chat. So it's a very simple, natural way to have a conversation. When I started this, the reason I started it was a complicated one. I'd been blogging for a wee while. Many of you probably seen some of the blogs I've done in the past, written blogs. But because of a student I took on, was a girl that I took on as a driving student, and she put me to shame. She put me to shame so much that I decided I needed to do something more than just blog. And going live had just come out at that point on Facebook, and I thought, maybe I should do something about it, because this wee lassie was 16, she was heading to university, she wants to be a politician. Her role model was Nicola Sturgeon, and she was going to university to study politics and history, and she wanted to go straight into politics. And I thought, well, she's 16, I'm 55, I'm sitting in a car, and all I'm doing is typing a few posts every week. It's not really enough. And this came up, this live stream came up, and I thought, well, have a go at it. So that day, I started that phone in the window of my car and I started talking to it. And I just started a stream of consciousness, all the things I wanted to say, but I hadn't had the time to write it all down. So plugged the phone there, switched it round so it was looking back at me, and it was like just talking to yourself, because all you see on the screen is your own face staring back at you. So it's like practicing something in the mirror. It's not as scary as you might think to actually stand in front of the phone and just talk and just say what you want to say. That's fine, but the problem with that is that you need to know what it is you're going to say first. So you have to think, right, what's happening today? What have I seen today on the news, heard today on the radio? Something that annoyed you, something that inspired you, or whatever it was. But what's not being said in the media at the moment, it needs to be said. That's what you need to broadcast. So when I'm preparing a broadcast, you'll notice I don't do my broadcasts always at the same time. Usually I prepare them in the morning when I've got time. I'll leave aside about half an hour before my working day. And I'll have thought the night before about what I might be going to blog about. And if I haven't come up with anything by the morning, I'll turn the radio on to Radio Scotland and I'll listen to Kay Adams, and that's usually enough to think of something to say. Okay. Alright, so what I was asked to do today really was to try and explain the value of sincerity and spontaneity. One of the things I think has made the IndyCar successful is the fact that it's short. It's about 10 minutes long, and I tend to go for subjects that I know people are already talking about or are already thinking. You know that phrase, I wish I'd thought of that, or somebody should do something about that? Those two phrases are the ones I keep in mind when I start to prepare a blog. When I'm going to go live, I think, right, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about what Theresa May has just said, what Jeremy Corbyn's put in his manifesto. I did one recently on Jeremy Corbyn, and I said all these wonderful things that he's preparing, that he's saying that he's going to do in his manifesto, except there's two huge glaring errors that bring the whole Labour manifesto screeching halt. One of them was Trident, the fact that he never once said that he was going to get rid of Trident. That would have sold me if he'd said that. Other thing he didn't say was going to back independence, and he didn't say that he was going to be even ambivalent and give a free vote on independence. If he'd said any of those two things, then I wouldn't have gone online and panned it. But as it was, basically put a manifesto which was designed to please people on the southeast. And up here, no, it's not going to work up here, we know that. So that was that particular broadcast. I knew what I wanted to say, and I ran through in my mind what was right to do in the manifesto, and then I thought I'll finish on what are the two big glaring errors that bring that to a halt. So I had just thought about that morning. I hadn't planned it the night before. It came up on the radio, it came up on the TV screen in the morning before I left house. So if you're going to blog on anything, watch the TV, watch the media, also keep your ear to the ground on anything that you hear the night before on social media that's coming up, right? Anything that hasn't hit the mainstream yet, but is going to hit it soon. Get in there early yourself. So what about sincerity? Well, I'm talking to you about just as a group of people. We're all here for the same reason. So we're all sincere. We're all sincere because we're here for the same reason. We're all talking about the same things. But we're talking about the mechanics of it. So far we've talked about the equipment. We've talked about why social media is so powerful. And we've talked about the fact that you can adapt it to suit yourself. That's what's unique about it. When I set up IndyCar, it just evolved out of nothing. It evolved out of me sitting in a car and having a rant to the phone in the corner of the window. Right? That's all it was. But what you can do with it is you can design it to suit yourself. So if you wanted to take a stance on fracking, poverty, education, independence generally, or my favourite thing is future, so I set up a small book called The Scottish Futurist, which was basically just a page to allow people to think about what happens after independence. Think of something that's personal to you, something that you feel strongly about, that you're going to come over sincere about. You can't be sincere about something that you don't really believe. That's why politicians fail all the time to engage with people. The most popular politician in the UK at the moment is probably Nicola Sturgeon, and she's popular because she's straight talking. Everybody who actually talks about Nicola Sturgeon says the same thing. She's a straight talker. She just says it as it is. She doesn't waffle, and she doesn't talk in rhetoric all the time. And that's made her one of the most popular and one of the most powerful women on the planet at the moment. So when we're talking online, we need to do the same sort of thing. We need to be straight to the point. We need to be honest and give your opinion, and don't be afraid to give it. If you believe something, don't wash it down and try and make it seem more palatable. Just tell it like it is, the way you feel it, and it will come over much more engaging to people. I mean, I'm relatively used to talking to groups of people because I've done it before. I did it before when I was in a small spaceflight society years ago, and I used to give talks. I've given talks all over the world to various groups on lots of different subjects, so it's fairly easy for me to stand here and ad-lib as I'm doing at the moment. But what I'm trying to do is talk to you as a group of people, right? You've all come here today, and we fought our way through it against the odds today to make this event happen. And that tells me you guys are all committed to this as well, otherwise you wouldn't be here. You all want to know how to do this, otherwise you wouldn't be here either. And I can see you've all got your own equipment, right? And you're all filming me, which is great. Right? Making me feel more nervous by the minute. But this is what it's about. So, be sincere, make sure you're talking about something that's important to you personally. If it's something that's happened to you personally or your family, and it's important and it's part of the independence fight, then just say it. And don't be afraid, because the phone, if you pull the phone out and you switch on to live stream and you turn the phone around so it's just looking back at you, it's like just talking to a hand mirror, alright? And it doesn't feel scary when you do that. If I stand here and somebody was pointing a great big video camera at me, I'd be nervous, right? I mean, I'm nervous just now with this guy just with the iPad here. That scares the crap out of me. It's easy to talk to your phone. It's your wee personal device. It's your link to everybody out in the outside world. So all you have to do Just think about what you're going to say and try and talk for about 5 minutes. Maybe not much more than that, even a minute. Right? This is something that's important to you. Set your phone up somewhere where it's steady, make yourself comfortable. Press the button and watch the countdown go from 3, 2, 1. And also think of a way of leading in to your broadcast, something which is yours. I mean, I always say, hello, welcome to IndyCar, I'm Gordon Ross. That's just how it started. Sometimes you can even write at the top of your phone. It gives you an opportunity to write something about what you're going to say before it broadcasts, so you'll get a little bit of a title page comes up just before you start talking. So there are ways of personalising this. Don't be scared though. Imagine if you're on your own and you're just talking to a phone, it's not really very scary. It's far more terrifying to stand up here and talk to 12 people that I've never met in my life before than it is to sit and talk to this thing. When it comes to sincerity, it has to come from you. It doesn't come from an organisation. There are people who are members of parties that would be here, or be members of the SNP here, and that's fine. You can talk about the SNP. I'm not a member of a party, and I deliberately don't join parties because in my mind I like to be able to free my mind to think about things without being tied to any kind of party life. And I think it's the only way that you can really create anything new or valuable is to be able to keep your mind free. It's okay to be in a party, but it's not okay to always toe the party line. I think we need to remember that with the broadcasting as well. Don't be scared to say something which the SNP might not say, or which the Labour Party or Labour for Independence might not say, or some other group. Say it anyway, because if you don't say it, then it's not going to be said. Nobody's going to hear it. It'll only be you that knows this, and it might be something important. It might be something very important. Spontaneity is something which you can't manufacture. You know, sometimes you come up with a great idea on the spur of the moment, you just start talking to camera, and it all spills out. My first broadcast was 20 minutes long, right? I had no idea what I was going to talk about when I started it. And everything just spilled out in 20 minutes, and I pressed the button to transmit that, and I sat back and I thought, well, maybe in a couple of hours, 50 of my pals might see it. I looked in an hour later, 200 people had viewed it. I thought, well, that's pretty good. I looked in at the end of the day, 5,000 people had viewed it. And I thought, shit, what have I done? By the end of the week, 23,000 people had viewed that very first broadcast. And I thought, this is far more powerful than I ever thought it would be. Far more successful than I thought it could be. So, okay, maybe I've got a wee bit of an advantage because I've done some public speaking. Maybe I've got a bit of an advantage because I've got a lot of ideas flying about in my head that I like to talk about. But it doesn't matter how big or small the idea is. Something spontaneous could be, you're off to the march on the 3rd. I'm going to the march on the 3rd. And I'll tell you the truth, I've never been on an independence march before. I'm not a marcher. I'm a bit of a couch potato, really. I'm a bit of a kind of loner. I like to spend my time doing my own thing at home. You know, I build model boats, I have hobbies, you know. So I don't often go on marches. I don't often feel strongly enough about anything. But independence is something which has consumed my every waking hour for the last 5 years. And it's getting stronger and stronger all the time. And I feel that you guys today have started something here which needs to spread. And that's part of the spontaneity of today. For those of you who are watching this live stream just now who don't know what happened to us today, the event was supposed to be held indoors, but unfortunately there was a problem with the event site, and we've had to move outdoors to this lovely place here under the trees in the sunshine in the east end of Glasgow by St Luke's Church. And it's a great venue, and it's actually turned out a hell of a lot better, I think, than it might have done if we'd all been inside some gloomy building. So, spontaneity, this is spontaneity. We're standing under a tree talking to one another about how to communicate on this new medium, and it is a very powerful medium. So go out there and use it, have some fun with it, don't be scared of it, and if you make a fool of yourself, well, who cares? What does it matter? You're only making a fool of yourself in front of a few thousand. It 10,000 people. You know, it's not the end of the world, it's not your career, right? So it doesn't matter, okay? Anyway, that's all I have to say just now. I just wanted to say to you, get enthusiastic about this. It's good fun, right? And you can really hurt the Tories with this kind of stuff. They hate us. They hate us so much. Alright, so go forth, get your phones out, and come the 3rd of June, I want to see 30,000 people with phones out transmitting all at the same time. We will swamp the medium completely with independent stuff. Alright? That's the end of my rant.